Welcome to Bump Set Chat, the podcast where volleyball professionals come on and share their stories, experiences, and advice. And today, Chaz Galloway from the University of Hawaii. Welcome to Bump Set Chat, a podcast for volleyball professionals, coaches, and players who come on and share their journeys, experiences, and advice. And today, from the University of Hawaii, I'm excited to have Chaz Galloway. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on the show today.
Yeah, so glad you're here. I really appreciate it. And the way we start things off is with a few random questions. So are you ready?
Yeah, let's get into it.
All right. So first one, if they played intro songs for starters, what would your song be?
Ooh, Unlock the Swag. Yeah, I like that one. I don't forget who it's by, but it's like Unlock the Swag. Yeah.
All right. Excellent.
like that.
Okay. So when you go back home to Cali, what are you looking forward to the most? What meal are you looking forward to the most?
California burrito. Yeah,
right.
by Taco Stand and Encinitas. Can't get enough of that.
Nice. Now, what's in a California burrito?
I get mine with usually French fries, cheese, sour cream, carne asada, some salsa, and then yeah, that's usually it.
French
That's what I
fries.
like to. French fries. Have you ever had that?
No, I
Burrito?
haven't.
Oh, it's like I mean, it's a substitute for the, potatoes or
Yeah.
rice or whatever. But yeah, French fries, like the crunchiness to it, it's so good.
So instead of rice, you substitute the French fries.
Well, that's what a California burrito is. It
Oh,
usually
okay.
comes with guac, but I don't like guacamole, so
Yeah.
I just get that out. But like the French fries is what makes it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Up here, I haven't seen it yet, but if we make some, I'm going to do that. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it is amazing.
All
It's
right.
good.
So last question, what's the best thing about a road trip?
Ooh. Probably for me is the food. Like,
Yeah.
because here we're limited. We don't have like, well, we just got Chick-fil-A, but Chipotle, we don't have Chipotle. We don't have In-N-Out. We
Yeah.
don't have Sonic and stuff like that. So just being able to, DoorDash or go to places that we don't usually have here on the island is usually the highlight of a trip.
Yeah. Oh, In-N-Out. I love those burgers, man.
Yeah, I know.
Excellent.
It's great.
All right. So welcome to the podcast. So, let's first of all talk about, how many times have you been made to the national championships?
I've gone every year that I've been here. So I've been in the national championship 3 years because of COVID. We didn't get to go that year, but yeah, every single year.
That's pretty impressive.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What's been the highlight from that?
Obviously the winning. The
Yeah.
winning is obviously the highlight. But honestly, last year we lost to UCLA.
Yeah.
And I feel like I took a lot, away from that game, like losing in it, because I've always been there and just taking it for granted and always won it. So, seeing the other side of it and being on the other side of the net and seeing, another team celebrate, I feel like I learned a lot and like took away a lot from that experience for sure.
Excellent. All right. So how's the season going so far?
Oh, this season's been, it's been a roller coaster. It's been ups and downs. Spyros, you had him on the show.
Yeah.
He got injured this year, so he's out for the rest of the year. And then, with the combination of a lot of younger guys that haven't really been experienced or have that experience on the court, it's been a grind, trying to get them up to speed and, just trying to find a way that we can play together.
Yeah.
And something that works for us because our, identity has changed as a team with our best player being out.
And, hitting on that with with Spyros being out, when you guys are in a rut, who's stepping up in that huddle to kick you guys in the butt? Is it you, or is it just other members on the team, or is it the team as a whole?
See, I think that's who we're trying to find right now. I mean, I've always been the guy that's just like more statistic. Like I'll tell them what they're going to do or what the other team's most likely going to do or like what the guys should take away or stuff like that.
Yeah.
Spyros was the fire that was like, let's go, just set me every single ball. But I think we're looking for a leader right now that is going to step up and be like, let's go. We got this. Because, I mean, there's just a lot of faces out there. Like they don't know what to do. So, I mean, it could be me. It could be G or Alakai out there. But one of us definitely needs to step into that role.
All right. So first of all, where are you from? What are you majoring?
Well, okay. Well, let me answer the first question. I'm from
right.
San Diego, California. Yeah. And then I'm majoring in communications.
Okay. Excellent.
Yeah.
And now, how does a kid from San Diego, sort of in that volleyball mecca, end up in Hawaii?
So it was 2019, and I was going on my visits like most, sophomores, juniors in high school, do. And I was actually at the senior night for Hawaii versus Long Beach State, and it was a sold out arena. And I remember just sitting there and, you know, it was the two best teams in the country battling it out. And Hawaii ended up winning in 5 sets. And right then and there, I was like, I know this is where I want to go. This is the team I want to be on. I mean, the energy, the fans, like, and then the whole ceremony afterwards, it was just like, it was an experience that I've never had. And I was just like, this is where I want to, you know, continue my volleyball
Yeah.
career.
Excellent. All right. So now, going way back, when did volleyball, when did you find volleyball?
So I think I started when I was 15. I grew up playing football. My dad played at Oregon State
Okay.
in football. So we were a football family, and my sister played volleyball. And then I ended up getting my fourth concussion in 8th grade, and I was going to a high school that was a private school, and I was pretty much going there for football. But since, you know, the doctors wouldn't clear my physical, they're like, you got to pick another sport to play. And my mom ended up signing me up for volleyball without really, you know, telling me or my dad. And I just went out there. I didn't even know there was men's volleyball,
Yeah.
really. I didn't know that whole scene yet. And so then, yeah, I think that's when I just started. Freshman year was when I really got into it. I started playing club,
Okay.
and it just took off from there. I was still really raw my
Yeah.
freshman year, didn't really know too much, but I grew up watching it. I grew up
Okay.
going to the tournaments every weekend with my sister. I'd pepper with her. So I kind of knew it, but not to the extent that I, you know, needed to learn more.
Yeah.
And then after that, it was probably my sophomore year when I started to figure it out and put the pieces together.
And now let's not just say the doctors didn't clear you. I'm sure your mom wasn't going to let you clear.
Oh no, yeah, she was done with football. She was like, We're not doing this anymore. No more MRIs or CAT scans or none of that." So
Yeah, especially for an
yeah,
eighth grader.
yeah, I know. Yeah, I was a quarterback too, so I
Oh,
think I got my arm from that. You know, what I mean, I have a
yeah.
little weird arm swing because I'm used to throwing a football, but you know, I make it work.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
shoot. So did you play high school ball as well or just club?
I played my freshman and sophomore year of high school volleyball, and I was playing club then. I took my junior year off of high school volleyball just to focus on club because
Yeah.
I ended up leaving the private school that I was at and just wanted to homeschool myself. And then I was able to really focus on volleyball. And that was like my sophomore to junior summer.
Yeah.
And I think that's when I made the most progress, was just being able to focus on volleyball, getting in the gym, getting those one-on-ones, getting with the coach. And I was able to, you know, just dive into volleyball.
Yeah.
So,
So, basically what you're saying is without club, you probably wouldn't have gotten to the level of play that you are right now.
oh yeah, absolutely. Club was by far the biggest like impact on me in volleyball. I mean, the level there is just it's better. I mean, there's some high schools out there that are, you know, can compete. They have
Yeah.
club players, but the most of the competition is in club.
Yeah. And what club did you play for?
I played for Wave in San Diego.
All right.
Wave Volleyball Club.
Well,
Yep.
shout out for them.
Yes.
Now, any coaches there you want to say something to?
Yeah, I had a coach in the club director, Brennan Dean. He was my coach for my 16th year, and he really like I'm telling you that sophomore junior year, 16 to 17 was really when I feel like I started figuring volleyball out, and thanks to him. And you know, I mean, there's definitely other coaches out there that, you know, helped me and shaped
Yeah.
me and molded me into the player I am today. But I think Brennan really drove that passion into me for volleyball.
Yeah. What was that first year of volleyball like for you as a freshman? Were you in, was that a COVID year?
Yeah, so it happened. COVID happened in March of my freshman year, so in the middle of season.
Oh, shoot.
I went into it. I wasn't. I teetered on being like a starter and not a starter. Like I would. I guess I didn't really start. I would. We were losing games. Like we would win or we would lose the first set, and then I would be put in for the
Yeah.
second set, and then we'd come back and win. And I did that like 2 or 3 games in a row, and then it was actually the last game before COVID happened against BYU at home, and it was sold out. BYU was like number 2 or 1, and we were number 2. And we got swept the night before on a Friday night.
Yeah.
And then I got to start the Saturday, and we won in 5. And then that following week, we flew to San Diego or flew to LA to play CSUN. And then we got the news when we landed from the at the airport that our season was canceled.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it was like right as soon as I was stepping into like that role that
Right.
COVID happened. And then I actually just ended up staying in California. I didn't even fly back with the team because I was like, there's no really point for me to
Right.
do that. So yeah.
Oh, shoot. And now, let's talk about that freshman year. What was that experience like coming from club? If and then, those first few practices, games, what was that level of play like? Was it like night and day from what you played in club to college?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like my last year at club, my 18th year, I was ready for that next step. I was kind of getting not necessarily bored, but like I wanted to play with people that were better than me, if not,
Yeah.
the same level. So, but stepping into the gym, I mean, I was going against All-Americans, Ratto, Gage, Colton, Pat. So I was on the B side and going against them every day in practice. I was like, whoa. I was like, these guys are bombing serves.
Yeah.
They're just so much, more physical than I was. And I was like, just finding a way to compete. And I realized my strength was passing.
Yeah.
What I mean? So I was like, let me just, focus on that and work really hard at that. And maybe that'll get me on the court. And that ultimately was what got me on the court. But
Oh,
yeah, it
okay.
was a night and day difference from club to, you know, college. I mean, let alone the serve, you're able to in club you have like 3-4 feet to serve.
Yeah.
But in the college gym, you have like, I don't know, 15, 20
You
feet
got a
to get a running
runway.
start. Yeah. And I was just like, oh, I can actually get on the ball a little bit more. So yeah, it
Yeah.
was nice though.
Oh, shoot. And also, not to mention, when you're playing club, you're playing everybody at your age, essentially. Now you're coming into college, you're playing guys 3 or 4 years older, they're stronger, they've got a lot more
Mhm.
experience. So it's a big adjustment.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, those guys were pretty much they were in their senior year. The A side was, they're all senior years and they got to come back for their fifth or sixth year with COVID.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were way older than me, 4 or 5 years older than me. So,
Yeah. And now, what have been some of the highlights at UH since you came there?
I mean, obviously I hold that BYU game my freshman year very close to me because I was like, that was just an unreal moment for me. And then just the ups and downs, battling with injuries my sophomore year. I had a high and low ankle sprain, and coming off of that and changing from the OH1 position to the OH2 position was a big transition because OH2 gets a lot of more like high balls or,
Yeah.
just the trash sets, the bailout sets. And for me, I was leading the team in kills and points per set. And then I ended up getting injured and coming back and just managing that and trying to just play like was a big step for me. But, ultimately we got the championship that year and I figured it out. And then we found a system that worked with
Yeah.
everybody. And it seemed like I was, a good player to be in the OH2 spot, just steady out the passing a little bit better, get the high ball, just not making errors really was
Yeah.
the big thing. Yeah.
All right. And now, I guess I missed something earlier. What was the hook volleyball had on you? What about volleyball, that, what made it the sport that you wanted to play and commit to?
Well, I'd always been a jumper.
Yeah.
My dad ran track at Oregon State too, and he was a long jump coach, and he'd been my coach since I was like 8 or 9 in long jump. So jumping just came easy to me. And when I was out there, I was like, oh, this is, and the transition from football to volleyball, I mean, it's a whole different demographic,
Yeah.
people playing it. And I don't know, it was just like the culture around volleyball was just, I fell in love with it. It was like
Hmm.
boys for me. And I was like, okay, I like this.
Yeah.
I am obviously could jump pretty well. So I was like, if I just figure out a little, some other things, I'll be okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Volleyball is an amazing sport. You can play throughout your life. You
Hmm.
can it's a great social sport. You can play with women and men can compete on the same court with, adjusting rules. It's a great sport. And I think a lot of people don't realize it. A lot of people just look at it as like picnic volleyball.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if volleyball, especially men's volleyball, got more mainstream media, I think it could be one of the biggest sports here in the,
Yeah.
in the United States, but it just doesn't have that yet. And
Yeah.
I'm like, if we could get some of these kids that are playing, basketball or football, some of these athletes to try volleyball, and
Yeah.
if there's money in it or scholarship in it,
Right.
I think we could, the level can just only keep getting higher.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, something I discovered since starting this podcast with men's volleyball, there's only 4 scholarships per team. That's wild.
Yeah, 4.5 scholarships, and they usually split that up.
Yeah,
And yeah, but
it's
I
wild.
mean, luckily with Hawaii, with NIL and stuff, they've been able to, get other pools of
Yeah,
money and, allocate it to us. So that's been
that's
really
good.
nice. But yeah,
Excellent.
4.5 scholarships is not enough.
No, not at
Not
all.
enough at all.
Yeah. And now, speaking of the hook of volleyball, what is more gratifying or rewarding for you when you roof someone on a one-on-one block, or you're coming out of the back row and you get that kill and nobody's in front of you?
Hmm. I
or the
That's a
serve?
great question. Honestly, for me, it's like diming someone's pass, like
Yeah.
their best serve or their best attack. For me, like that's always been more, satisfying than, getting a block or getting a kill. Cause I mean, at this level, everybody can really kill the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, and everybody's physical enough to, go up there and, block or hit. But like just having their best player and just like scooping them and being like, yeah, you're easy. That's more satisfying to me than, anything right now.
Yeah. All right. And now, if Chaz could go back to freshman Chaz and give him some advice, something that you've learned now over the years, what would that advice be?
Definitely like try to keep finding that passion, that drive. I mean, it's easy once you start, winning or you start getting, recognition to just be complacent. Be just going, not necessarily going through the motions, but the formula to win. And you're like, you kind of not necessarily take days off, but you know what it takes to be at the end in that final match. So you're just like, you just kind of look at it very differently. And I would say just stay hungry, like, you know what I mean? Just get those extra reps, get in the
Yeah.
gym more and just stay hungry really would be the main thing I'd tell myself because, you never know what can happen.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And now, that first year you with volleyball being a winter sport, you had that first semester to get used to, college and everything like that. What happened from a volleyball standpoint for those first couple of months? Are you guys just lifting on your own, or are you meeting the team and everything like that?
Yeah. So my freshman year, we lifted way more than we do now. I mean, it's a testament to, like I said, that formula.
Mm-hmm.
I think we were lifting a little bit too much my freshman year, but we were lifting like 4 or 5 days a week. Like on Saturdays, we had morning weights, and then now we don't do that or anything. It's more like load management and
Yeah.
mobility stuff and just maintaining strength. But definitely when you first get there in the fall, it's just like building the strength to last you through the season.
Yeah.
Because once you're in season and things are going, like it's hard to put on muscle or put on strength. You're just maintaining at that point. So definitely coming into the gym in the fall was just like, and I knew for me, like being a smaller, undersized guy, like I need to become way more physical. And that was the biggest thing for me.
Yeah. All right. And a while back in November, I had Capono on, and he was
Okay.
telling me back in the fall that you guys were doing a road trip, exhibition trip over to Japan. How was that experience?
That was amazing. I'm a big anime fan. I love the Japanese culture. And so being able to go with the team and the guys was a unreal experience. And I mean, I'm so grateful that we got to do it because they went in 2019 and they always said like every 2 years we're going to go. But with COVID, that didn't really happen. So I didn't know if I was going to be able to go to Japan, but we were able to make it happen. And honestly, just playing a different style of volleyball. They play a different style of
Yeah.
volleyball over there. And it was nice to just see something different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're so used to like this college style of volleyball. And it's
Mm-hmm.
very just like, I don't know, meathead, just hit. And these guys are, a lot smaller and they run plays and they're quicker and they tip and they joust and stuff. You're just like, where is this coming from?
Yeah.
So it was a good experience for, I think, for everybody to go out there and just, and engulf themselves in the culture and like the way of volleyball out
Yeah.
there.
All right. And now you're just talking about they played a different style. What was that first game like? Were you like all guys looking at each other like, what are they doing?
Yeah, so we played a pro team. I can't. Oh, the Blazers, I think. And Cole Hogland was on our team last year. He ended up going and playing there, so we
Oh,
got
okay.
to play a couple games against them. And it's funny because even when you think that you're at the top of college, you get humbled real quick and being like, okay, these are grown men. Like this
Yeah.
is their craft, this is their profession. And we got punched in the mouth there for a little bit, but then we got to play their number one collegiate team out there, and
Yeah.
it was a great match. We thought we were just gonna go out there and we're like we jump way higher than these guys. They
Yeah.
don't hit at the top of the antenna, but we went to 5 sets with them, and it was a sold out arena, and it was a great environment to be in.
Nice.
It was
And then
awesome.
looking on that trip, what were some of the highlights for that trip?
The food. I'm a
Yeah.
big foodie. Yeah. I love sushi. I love, seafood and stuff like that. And so the food was amazing. And I feel like every 5 steps there's a new place, to eat out there. And it's way cheaper than here. I'm used to getting sushi out here and it's like $20 a roll. And I'm
Yeah.
like going there and I'm like $9. Like, let's go. Like give me 3 of these. So but other than the food, I would say the sightseeing,
Yeah.
just the culture of Japan. It's such a rich culture. I mean, the people and the respect that they have there
Yeah.
is just you can't really find that anywhere else. I would say the closest place to that would be Hawaii with
Yeah.
the aloha spirit and the respect there. So yeah, those are the two main ones.
Nice. And then after the trip, you guys come back and, January, you guys, really start focusing. What's that first practice of the year when you guys are able to practice like?
Oh, it's double days, so we're usually practicing twice a day, and I mean, just going from our season's weird because we go from that like break in December, we have like a month off,
Yeah.
and then we just come back in the double days for like a week, and then we got our first game. So it's really just trying to figure out what works with the team. Honestly, is out there just like it's
Yeah.
obviously competing. Guys are competing for a starting position still, especially this year because we didn't have a set lineup. We were
Hmm.
still like rotating guys in because Charlie was like, I got to see all my options. So, but I mean, it's definitely just going hard and your body's all banged up, but you're just like, let's get through this week and then, the season
Yeah.
starts.
And now, speaking of drills and whatnot, what is your least favorite drill?
Mhm. I have a lot. Milan, Milan puts us through the ringer, man. He has some crazy. I feel like he makes up some of these drills on the spot. They're just like you didn't think about this before because there's just no way, And with his Serbian accent, he's trying to give instructions, and you're just like, what are we doing? Like, you know what I mean? But definitely, like his warm ups are intense. Like I feel like I'm sweating bullets by the time we start playing, and I mean, I'm warm.
Yeah.
Granted, like it works, but definitely his warm ups are just like it's a lot of movement, a lot of touches, a lot of reps, and it gets you ready though.
Yeah. Yeah. Spyros says he hates the running.
They turn our practices into track meets. Yeah, like it's funny because Milan has this philosophy. It's like if a ball touches the ground without anybody like moving or going towards it, it's just like you already know, get on the line.
Oh,
And I'm like, the whole point of volleyball is to actually hit the ball down without anybody touching it.
right.
So like those first like, especially in the fall, because it's part of our conditioning,
Hmm.
he's just like tip or anything. Even if the guy bounces it, we're like, okay, good swing. He's like, you didn't even move for it. You're just like, how am I supposed to move for that? It's a great swing, but he's just like on the line, six
Oh,
touches, go. So
oh
yeah,
man.
it's a lot of running.
And now, what do you have any pre-game rituals that you do? Like, do you have to have a certain meal? Do you need a nap? Certain playlist? What's your pre-game ritual?
I used to be like that. I used to get what is it called? Jersey Mike's before every game because it's right by campus.
Yeah.
And I used to kind of just try to like, I like to drink my Red Bull before practice or before games, but now more recently I'm just getting the mind space. I don't have to do a certain thing, but making sure like I get a nap before, that's huge for me
Yeah.
because we usually have serve and pass and we have like 2 or 3 hours before we have to come back and warm up again. And just definitely getting a nap in there in between that and just resetting and being and looking at film. I have to watch film before every game because I feel like it's fresh on my mind
Yeah.
and in there.
And, speaking of rituals, the team has a pregame ritual as well. What was if you want to talk about what it is, what it's called, and then your first time experiencing it?
Yeah, so we actually have a couple. We when we're at home, we do this like we ready chant. Like it's pretty much like we're ready for you guys. And then we go in the locker room after our third like session of going back and forth in our warm up. And we go in there and we do the haka or the ha'a. I don't even know what to call it really.
Yeah.
But yeah, we all take our shirts off and we start like start doing like the what is that called? The Wolf of Wall Street, like
Yeah.
little chant. And then all the guys starts us with like, his chant. We all just go crazy. Some guys have like paddles because we have a bunch of like tikis or paddles and knives in the locker room. And some guys are just going crazy with it. And that usually gets us fired up for the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, your first time there, you were like, oh my God, what did I sign up for?
Yeah. So it's funny because they don't teach the freshmen. Like it's something that like we don't sit down and we learn. It's just like you'll get over time. And
Yeah.
it's funny because I'm watching freshmen still do it, and we're in what late March, and they still don't know the words.
Yeah.
Like they're just going through the motions and they're messing up. But yeah, it's funny. You just get in there and you're just like, we didn't talk about this. Like, what are the words? What do we do? And one year we did. We had some guy come in and kind of teach us it. But other than that, like it's like you just got to pick it up.
Yeah.
And we do it before every game, so it's like by the end of the year, you got it down.
Yeah. Nice. And now, we talked about who's that leader to step into a huddle. Who's the joker that can take, break that tense moment?
I feel like it's either me or Keone. I always had this like, lighthearted mood on the court. I can't get myself to be like super emotional because it throws off my game. I always just like, all right, next ball.
You're like the Zen
Every
guy.
yeah, I'm like, okay, we're good. We're good. Even if we get aced or whatever, it's like next ball, next ball. And so I'm always just trying to like, maintain, the calmness and I don't know what the word is for it,
Yeah.
but Keone definitely he's always cracking some jokes or something like that,
Oh,
making the guys laugh. Yeah.
nice. And now, over the course of the year, do you guys have are there any dates on the calendar that's always circled? Like senior night's a big thing, but are there certain matches of the year like, oh man, I can't wait for that?
Yeah, senior night, of course, is obviously the first one that comes to mind. And then, well, before that, the Outrigger tournament is a big one. And then I think the biggest one for our season is the Big West Championship. And because like even if you go into that, whatever your record is, if you win that, you're going to the NCAA.
Yeah.
So that's definitely the one that we always have circled. And it's just like we don't not that we don't care what happens before, but it's just like when that date comes, it's like we have to be locked in. Like that's our time to be, start going. Like that's the moment where we got to be locked in for sure.
Yeah. Excellent. And now, over the course of your career at Hawaii, what has been sort of the most improved part of your game, and what do you think helped it the most?
Mm, I, well, see that's a hard question to answer because I feel like I was always a decent passer,
Yeah.
but I focused because my role on the team, like we had some heavy arms on the pins and in the middle
Yeah.
that like I knew my role was to steady out the passing. But I'd say my serve has evolved over the year. When I first got here, I was kind of like just targeting, just putting in the ball in play, and I had this weird like spin to it where it drops a lot.
Yeah.
So, and then as I got older, I was like, okay, I got to start putting pace behind the ball a little bit more. So I feel like I focus on my serving, not just putting it in, but trying to point score a little bit higher.
Yeah.
But like I said, my freshman year, we had huge blockers in the front row when I went back to serve. So I was
Hmm.
just kind of like, put it in. We'll play defense. We're
Right.
either block them or we'll play defense. But now it's like we don't necessarily have those big time blockers like we did, or the experienced blockers, I'd say this year. So it's just like, okay, let's ramp it up a little bit more. But definitely serving and passing have I think grown the most for
All
me.
right. And earlier you said you're a jumper. First of all, I got to ask, what is your vertical?
That's right now it's my knees are all banged up. But I would say I'm roughly around like 44,
Yeah.
43, 44 right now. I touched I think this year like 11.9.
Holy crap.
So whatever that
Yeah.
is, yeah.
And now, were there certain exercises you worked on to improve your vertical, or was just a natural, thing you had?
I think it's a mix of both. I obviously wanted to get my jump higher, and I say my junior year I got with like a private trainer, and we really my I think my vert went up like 6 inches that
Wow.
year, sir, because I really started squatting a
Yeah.
lot or squatting heavier, and just doing lunges, leg exercises, explosive leg exercises to get my my vert up. But definitely I've always just been able to jump, but putting that time to the gym where you can jump high for a long period of time
Yeah.
was the biggest thing. Because it's easy to go out there and your first 15 jumps you feel great, but sets 3, 4, and 5, it's like okay, we got to maintain that. So
Right.
that was a big one.
Okay. And what advice do you have for those high school kids that are going to be freshmen next year coming into college? And what advice to get ready for game time?
For game time, well, let me go back on that actually. Like my advice to them would be just in volleyball, like you can't get enough reps. Like reps, 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 reps. And I think when you're in that age from, 17, 18, like yes, you want controlled reps, but you can't touch the ball enough. And as you get older, then that the controlled reps come into it, but definitely reps and then the physicality of the game.
Yeah.
Like you got to be able to, you know, put some heat behind the ball. You got to be able to get a little bit more physical. So definitely lifting weights can't hurt
Yeah.
you at all. But then the reps, like that hand on ball contact where if you want to go short on your serve, you have the confidence because you've practiced that 1,000 times that you can. If you want to, Charlie likes to call it, he's a golfer, so he's like pulling different drivers. Everybody wants, the big driver, but like what about that 7-iron,
Yeah.
like the other irons that you just chip shot,
Mm-hmm.
like you gotta practice other things because you can't just be one dimensional. So
Yeah.
it's just like work on stuff that you're not good at too. Like I always tell kids when they ask me, I'm like, okay, yeah, you can focus on the stuff that you're good at and try, like if you're good at that, work on it for you can be better at that. But the stuff that you're not good at, like you're gonna need. And so I'd put more time into that
Yeah.
to at least get that to a level where, you're comfortable with it and then find your specialty and what you're good at and then just grind that out.
Yeah.
Really.
All right. And something that's unique with Hawaii is the fact you guys where you're on your island way out there. What does a travel week look like for you guys when you're hitting the road?
Our itineraries are insane. So we usually depends, like there's some trips where we will do a red eye.
Yeah.
So, and then as soon as we land, we go check into the hotel and we usually have a practice just to move. Cause once you're sitting on that plane for 5, 6 hours, like,
Right.
fatigue and our coaches they want us to get adjusted to the time zone. They don't want us, it's easy to get to the hotel and just want to nap the whole
Yes.
day, but it's just like, no, like, let's move, let's feel out the gym. Cause the stand is a huge arena and we go into some gyms, you got to, find your rhythm in that gym. The ceiling's a little bit different. The lights are different. So they like to come in here and, just do like a little serve and pass or a little light practice for, we're moving, getting that lactic acid out our legs.
Yeah.
And, but from that practice, usually the next day we have serve and pass and a game. If not, like we'll have another practice before the game.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, because that's a long flight, and for a bunch of tall kids, your knees are cramped up there. It's not a fun time.
I'll give it to Hawaiian Airlines. They're really good with us, and they usually give us extra comfort or
Nice.
exit row. So yeah, I mean I'm only 6'3", so I don't have it that bad. But I know some of these guys, like I'm like, oof, they're stuck in. My freshman year, we didn't have that, so they're all stuck in the middle in between people, and I'm like,
Oh
that doesn't look fun. But
no.
now we got extra comfort, and so it's way better.
All right. So I got a question from a senior high school kid, and they would want to know what drills or techniques did you find most effective to improve your accuracy and hitting power?
So, picking a spot on the court and like just really repping that. It's easy just to have a setter and you're just hitting anywhere
Yeah.
with like no block up. But like really like even if it's a towel or a ball cart, like put it in area 5.
Yeah.
Like that deep corner. And like let's just say one ball cart. Every ball you're trying to hit that cart or the towel.
Yeah.
And then moving it. And like that works on your shot selection a lot. Instead of just aimlessly, if the set's inside, like I'm just gonna go here. If, it's pushed out, I'm gonna go here. Like really focusing like those controlled reps. That's when you get into that where it's just like, okay, this is where I want to go. Let me work on that. And like the same thing with serving. I mean, just having a target and a small target is the biggest thing I'd like to tell, high schoolers or people
Yeah.
that are looking to get better. Have a small target and really finish at that target. And if you don't hit it, that's fine. Just keep repping it out. But having a small target and focusing on where you want that ball to go and like that hand on ball, it can only help you.
All right. Excellent. And the next question I have is from a high school coach, and she wants to know what are some of the little things that you've learned to help with your blocking?
Footwork. It's
Yeah.
all footwork. Everybody wants to talk about what goes on above the net, but I'm like, if your feet aren't there, if you blow past the block or the hitter, it doesn't matter what your hands do because you're already past them. So like I think I was taught this in club. It was like I think it's ball hitter, ball, no, wait, ball setter, ball hitter.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like tracking that with your eyes. Once the ball goes over the net, okay, what's the pass look like? That will, determine what you're gonna do, where the setter's gonna go. And then my biggest thing is reading setters. I like to pick apart their tendencies.
Mm-hmm.
Some setters, when they're here, it's going to 4.
Yeah.
And then some like arch their back. And so those tendencies, watch film and figure out what the setter's doing. And then it's just the footwork. If you see that ball is dying inside, there's no need to go out and close line.
Right.
The driver's the hitter's gonna drive in and try to smash the ball into the court, cross court. So definitely stopping short and getting over the net too is a big thing that I see with a lot of younger kids.
Mm-hmm.
You just go up, and I'm like, okay, if you're just going up, the ball can go anywhere. You got to press over,
Yeah.
get that pike position, work on your core, really press your hands over the net and take away an area of the court. And there's two main philosophies, is like either taking away a part of the court or just touching the ball.
Yeah.
And I like to tell the guys on the team this year is touch the ball, because that creates plays.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you touch it, someone in the back row can dig it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if you're a bigger blocker, I'd just take away half the court if you can. You know what I mean? Then the hitter only has one lane to go through, and you tell your digger behind you, hey, I'm taking away this. I'm going cross. You be ready for the line shot.
Right.
And so it's a lot of it's just communication.
Yeah.
You got to talk through every play with your back row, what you're going to do, what the hitter likes to do. So, yeah.
All right. And now my question, so you know, as a pass receiver, the speed of the serve is coming at you quite fast. Are you doing like a split step? How are you getting ready for that serve?
So I like to do, I do a split step. But last year I started when my legs were a little bit more fatigued. Like I found that I was kind of sinking into my, I guess, base position for passing a little bit too much. So this year I've been like, I tap twice with my right foot, and that kind of just gets me to just like be loose. Cause I don't want to be like, just, on the balls of I want to be on the balls of my feet, but I don't want to be dug in either.
Right.
So just like a double tap, and then like just moving to the ball is like my thing. Really, that works for me. Some people are different. I know TJ likes to clap before like the serve. And some guys, Poi likes to like do like a little hop step. Yeah, I don't know what he does, but I'm like, whatever works for you, man, works. But yeah, I do like a little tap, get in there, and then just move to the ball, keep it in front of me.
Excellent. And now I saw you are a part of the national program, Collegiate national program.
Yeah, I was training with the Collegiate team and then the Pan Am team this summer. Yeah.
And you're going there this summer to train with the Pan Am team, or that was last summer?
That was last summer.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was that experience like?
That was fun. It was a real great experience playing with guys like the best in college, or just what was it called? The VNL team was practicing there.
Oh, no way.
And just, watching those guys, I mean, it's a whole different level of volleyball, but just being surrounded by guys that not only, they're college, but they're the best in college. Like, it's just like an all-star team. You're just like, oh, the setter, like the libero, is going to dig the ball.
Right.
The setter's you don't have to, you can really focus on, yourself a lot more in these programs, that like, that the other guys surrounded by you are just as good, if not better. And so they're handling their job, and you're just like, you just work as a team. It was a great experience. The boys it was fun this year.
Excellent.
Or last year.
And now will you be joining them again this summer, or what is your plans for this summer and next year?
Yeah, I haven't really decided that quite yet. I don't know if I want to go play pro. My body's, talking to me, and I'm just like, whew. So I haven't fully decided if I'm going to go play pro, but I think I'm just going to go back to San Diego, find a job. I want to be with my family. My mom needs me right now. So I think I'm going to go stay with her a little bit.
All right. And now, what advice do you have for that next group of seniors that are going to be stepping into that role for next year?
They got to find their culture, like their team identity and their culture. I mean, it's going to be a lot of guys that maybe have like a year of experience. So just finding something that works for them, because what worked for us in previous years, it probably won't work for them depending on the players they have. So finding that like their identity and their culture, and like that group, like, as your boys, like that's the biggest thing for them, I think, that they can do. And then everything on the court, that'll come, like, trust the process through the coaches. They have, a system that obviously works. So that'll come with, training with the team, but off the court and everything, that's just as important. Because I remember last year we were so close. I mean, we've been playing with each other, granted, for 4 years. So it's like we clicked. I knew what Jakob was good at, what he wasn't good at. I knew what Demi and Spyros, their tendencies. So it's easier to play with them, but definitely finding that time, not only on the court, but off the court, to, bond with your brothers. It's a big thing. Yeah.
All right. Excellent. And now, how would you describe the volleyball fans there?
Crazy.
Yeah.
They're crazy about volleyball. Yeah. I mean, they're passionate. I would say passionate is a better word.
Okay.
And, this year is a little bit different, because previous years, it's easy to be a fan when the team's winning.
Right.
I mean, when the team's the best, it's easy to jump on that bandwagon. But it's really interesting. I want to see how the Hawaii fans react to us. I mean, going through this hardship, going through these battles, and see if they're, supporting us still. I think they have been doing a great job
Hmm.
of, supporting us and lifting us up through this year. But yeah, no, they show up every single night. I mean, I'll go to the grocery store and I'll get recognized and stuff. They just want to talk about volleyball, and I'm like, wow, this is crazy. You guys treat us like professionals out here. It's
Excellent.
nice though. Yeah.
Nice. And now, what are you going to miss the most?
Oh, there's a couple things I'm gonna miss the most. I mean, playing in the stand. I feel like that's like even if you went somewhere else or even in the pro life, like that energy and that like college experience, like where it's not about money, it's not about
Hmm.
contracts, it's not really about playing performance or statistics. It's just about like that culture. And I feel like I'm gonna really miss just lifting with the boys,
Yeah.
practicing with the boys, and obviously I'm gonna miss the fans and the state of Hawaii, the beaches, the food, and stuff like that. But more about the relationships I've made here,
Yeah.
and I'm definitely gonna miss that part.
All right. And what words would you like to say to the coaches?
Oh, well, first, thank you. Thank you for everything. You taught me not only as a volleyball player, but, how to become a better young man, how to, time manage, just, the life lessons that they've taught me on and off the court have, I mean, shaped me into who I think I am today. And I'm internally and forever grateful for everything that they've done for me because they've done a tremendous job. We've been through so much, and I know I can never really repay that to them. But they really made me feel like, family. And so I really appreciate them for that. So
Excellent. And now, away from the volleyball court, what are some things you like to do to unwind and disconnect?
play video games. that's, that's all I really do is play video games and volleyball, really. I mean, other than the school part, I don't enjoy doing that, but
Yeah.
it's part of the job. But I mean, I like hanging out with, especially this last year, hanging out with, the guys that I know I'm not gonna get a lot of time with them, especially the foreigners that they're gonna go back to their country or go play pro, and I don't know when I'm gonna see them again. I
Yeah.
mean, it's not like they'll be on the mainland or be here when I come back. So just you know, spending time with them, going to the beach. I mean, just hanging out. That's a big one.
All right. And now, you said video games. What are some of the video games you like to play?
Well, I only like to play Tarkov, really. I mean, I have a problem with pretty much every other game except for Tarkov. I mean, I have my problems with Tarkov too, but just first person shooters is
Yeah.
my forte for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. That game has ruined all other games. Like my Steam library just keeps growing, and I just keep going back to Tarkov.
Always go back to Tarkov.
Yep.
Always find myself going back to Tarkov. Yeah.
Excellent. And now, when you get back home, what are you looking forward to most?
Spending time with my family.
Yeah.
I feel like I mean, these 5 years, it's flown by, but I feel like I've been, I feel like everybody goes through this, but a little disconnected from your family, as you're starting and you're transitioning into your own, way of life. But like everybody's, I feel like with my family's broken up in different places right
Yeah.
now, but definitely I want to go spend time with my mom. Like
Nice.
I feel like I need that relationship to just grow more.
Yeah.
So I'm looking for, and my friends back home, they all ended up staying at home. So it'd be nice to go home and see them and see what they're up to. Yeah.
Nice. All right. Well, hey, you made it through the podcast. Now, before I let you go, though, I got to ask you to shout out somebody in your peer group, in players. Who you think would have a good story to come on and share?
Hmm. One that you haven't had the current players right now?
And you pick anybody. I've had, just Spyros and Capono. That's all from UH.
Yeah, I mean, I think all Alakai would have a really, really interesting story because I mean, he wasn't a starter for 5 years. In his sixth year, he got, his starting
Oh,
and he's
wow.
balling out. He might be an All-American this year. So I mean, I'd love to hear his, story and his transition through volleyball and,
Yeah.
all the work that he put in, his mentality and his mindset throughout these years because he's put in the work and it's showing. So
Yeah.
I think he would be a great guy to have on the podcast.
All right. Well, excellent. Well, hey, Chaz, thank you so much. Good luck to you in, the last few matches you got going on and into the tournament. And, thank you so much for doing this.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me on today.